Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 34 of the FPV Podcast. This week we have Sam Hell or Matthew Johnson, whichever he prefers. We're just going to call him Matt. If you're on Facebook, you most likely have run into one of his videos because he is all over the place. So we're going to get a chance to talk to him about how he creates all that content and where he hopes that it's going to lead. But before we do that, Elvin, say hi.
Hi.
Is that it? Okay, that's it. Okay, fine. Be that way. Matt, introduce yourself.
Hey, Matt Johnson. Go by the handle Sam Hell online. Sponsors are Drone Wolf and Tattoo. So say big thanks to those guys for supporting me and keeping me in the air. Make really good stuff. So
awesome. So okay, so the first question I am going to ask, and we kind of discussed this already, is how did you go from Matthew Johnson to Sam Hell?
Oh yeah. So I got a big gamer background, like lots of online gaming, growing up doing that. But in particular, we played one game, me and my friends, called SOCOM on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
And so there was like servers for each part of the country, like East,
Right.
1, 2, 3, and everybody kind of stuck to their servers, but a lot of people trolled each other. You'd go in, team kill, that kind of stuff. It was fun and good sport stuff. But so we would create fake names all the time, like every day in our downtime, and go in and try to join other clans and teams, and wait till there's a big match and then team kill everybody. But
that is really trolling.
But so that was one of the names that came up with when I was just running through names every day, and that one stuck for some reason. I ended up using it all the time, and here it is now.
It works, man. It works.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody needs a tag name, so cool.
Gotta have a handle.
So now everybody knows where he went from Matt to Sam, because I was really confused.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were. That's like when I met Provo, FPV Provo at Megadrone. He came up and he was like, "You're Sam Hell?" I was like, "Yeah." And I told him my real name, and he's like, "You're not even named Sam." No, sorry.
When I met you,
I belong to the witness protection program.
Yeah, there you go. Had to change my name. Got into too much trouble. Cool. So, tell us your story on how you got into FPV. What hooked you?
Sharp Poo. I think that's a lot of people's story. I actually saw the Tested video because I was like following Tested for a while. I've always liked their site and their videos, and I came across the one where he's like racing in the abandoned, factory or whatever with his friends, and I was just blown away. Like, I was a skater skateboarding for almost 15 years, and 10 years of that was like every day, 8 hours a day, nonstop. And something about seeing him fly, the freestyle he was doing, it reminded me so much of street skating. And being old and beat up now, I can no longer do that. So it's kind of like an extreme sport for old guys. You can't get hurt, but you feel like you can. So I was immediately drawn to it when I saw him fly.
That's it. You got hooked, and you were off on your way.
Yeah, and I have no RC background. Like, I had like nothing. I flew an RC plane, like a little cheapo one, once years ago, and that was it. So it was a crash course. I knew nobody in the hobby, nobody to guide me. It's all trial and error.
How did you get all your stuff? Then.
Well, they did the build video on Tested with Sharpoo, and he had all his Lumineer parts, and Get FPV was all over that video. It's a smart move by them.
Right.
Because that led me right to their site, which I think I went to their site and they had a schizo video as with like on the main page, and that was like his video was so much different from Sharpoo's. It was like real beautiful and slow and looping, and that just hooked me even more, seeing this like other side that wasn't quite as frantic as Sharpoo's flying at the time. So I ordered I figured, Lumineer stuff looked good, and from the short amount of research I did, it seemed like it was pretty quality. So I figured if I'm going to do it, I'm going to jump in, get good stuff, and just go for it. So I ordered a bunch of stuff. I actually ordered a ready-to-fly QAV 250 from Get FPV since I didn't know anything.
Like $400 and something in, right?
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly.
I got that and like three cell batteries and a pair of Fat Shark Dominator V2s and a Tyrannus. And I've never seen any of this stuff before,
It's
And
like, what is this stuff?
yeah, I was hoping that with the ready to fly, I would be able to look at it and understand it. Like, I'm a hands-on learner, so I thought, this is going to be the best way for me to figure this out. Which not really, it didn't help me much. So I still had to learn everything, but it did get me in the air really quickly, and I got flying right away. I mean, and I didn't fly line of sight or anything for a long time. Like I'm still not very good at line of sight. Like I threw the goggles on, and with my video game background, having the goggles on was very natural to me. It's like a first-person shooter.
Exactly. You just up and went, huh? No fear.
Yeah, no fear.
Man,
Titanfall.
See, like that's something different about me and Matt here, because if I spent like he just said like basically $800 to $1,000, and he's like, no fear, I'm just gonna go out and crash.
Yeah,
that's rough.
You get like that, right, Matt? I mean, there's some things you just spend money on. I mean, you got it too. You got your thing too, I'm sure. Where you see something, you're so intrigued, you're like, okay, I'm gonna drop at least, 500, right? And then by the time you finish doing all your research, you figure, oh well, I'm gonna be about 2,200 in the end, So I might as well get what I can get that's good. So, and then you go out, and you make that initial buy, and you spend about $1,800, right? And then you go, huh? What is all of this stuff? Right? Chargers, batteries, soldering irons, right? Because you said you started off from new, so you had to get all of that stuff, right?
That first box I got was crazy. There was so much stuff; it was overwhelming. But it was funny because I was adding it up when I was first, figuring out what kind of cost was involved. Mm-hmm. I was running it past my wife. I'm like, look, it's like $300 for this, $200 for that. We'll be in for like $600. $1,500 later, I'm getting the death stare.
You told your wife the real cause.
Yeah, but I gotta give props to her. She is crazy supportive of me doing this, and
that's awesome.
She's absolutely behind me 100%. So it's really rad.
That's hard to find.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Make sure you stay on that. What I mean?
No doubt.
See,
don't mess that up.
Yeah. I guess that's really the funny thing, right? It's because like right now, like the cost of building a quad is super cheap. It's kind of almost ridiculous to the point, but like if you keep at this hobby, like you can spend a lot of money still easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're one of those guys that's just got to have the newest, the greatest. You know what I mean? There's I know some guys that's got a couple of ZMRs. They got 2 or 3 ZMRs, 250s. And they've been flying those for 3 years, I mean, they got the latest and the greatest of the motors and the latest and the greatest flight controller and the latest, but they're still flying the same ship they were flying 2 to 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And they're perfectly happy with that, though. You know what I mean? But then there's guys like me, and I'm thinking you, and you, and that. The new ship comes out, the QAVR comes out, and everybody's looking for something that looks just like it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And trying to figure out, it's like $119. Or this one is like $80. This one's like $60. What's the weight difference? And you start playing that game, again. Basically you're gonna build another one, right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes us end up spending the most amount of money is because we got to have so many ships to satisfy that new blood coming in, right? That's something new to compete with the dude next door. Hey, look, I got a new one too. Look at me.
Yeah, it doesn't help that how fast this stuff's progressing either. I mean, you can have the latest and greatest in 3 weeks, it's outdated. It seems like it's crazy.
And
I mean, seriously, it's like a couple months is like 10 years in any other industry. It seems like.
Right. True that. And well, that's what happens in the beginning, right?
Exactly. And right now, what's killing me, because like as a person who actually tries to manage the shop, motors are like a dime a dozen. There's a new motor coming out every day, and I'm like, dude, I give up. I'm not stocking any of this stuff because you don't know what's hot anymore. It's like
I don't blame you.
It's that. It's like whatever.
I looked at look at red bottoms, not as blues, the blues, the LDP blues, and
it's tough.
Man, I'm still running my multi-star 2306s, man. They I just slap a 4-blade prop on and we can go wherever you want to go. You know what I mean?
So what about you, Matt? Are you picky on parts, or are you like, hey, if it flies, it flies?
No, I'm super picky, and I live by the philosophy of buy once, cry once. Just spend the money up front, get what you want the first time. Otherwise, you're just going to be regretting it and dropping more money down the road to get what you want. So just save up and get the good stuff out the bat. I've never bought any of the eBay frames or any knockoff stuff ever. I don't know. And I think that there's always like, the more money you pay, the better the product. That's not always the case, but it's typically true in this hobby. It seems like. I mean, some stuff is a little overpriced, but I mean, I think you get what you pay for.
Definitely.
Like X Nova motors. A lot of guys say, "Oh man, that's a little steep," but when you look at them and you get one in your hand, you go, "This was meant to be on my ship for a while." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm flying the Lumineer motors, the 2206, 2350s. I bought, I don't know, maybe 12 or something of those, and that's all I've been flying. I'm ready to try something new, honestly, but they're good motors. They've treated me well, but they're not cheap. But I don't know, Lumineer just showed those purple ceramic.
He's got that itch. He's got the
$35 each. Oh my god,
dude! When you need 4 of them, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I need 4 of these, and then a backup.
and at least a backup. No
doubt. So yeah, I don't know. I you though.
Do you think that the differences in the new motors is enough to warrant that?
I don't know. I mean, not $35. That's hard to say, but I know that motor does have a lot of stuff that is first time. Like, what is it? It's got ceramic stator. Yeah. So I mean, that's nobody's really done that yet. So it'll be interesting. I know Steele has said, because his name was supposed to be on that motor, and he turned it down, and so now Schizo's name's on it. But he said it just drew way too many amps, that it was ridiculous, which is why he didn't want to endorse it. But so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So I don't know. It's a lot of money for a motor, though.
Ceramics. I just think about back in the day, when we went to ceramic bearings in RC trucks, and everybody was like, oh yeah, get the ceramic bearings for your truck, and you were like, yeah. That works great, and you put them in there, and the truck runs awesome for like the first race.
Yeah,
after the first set of jumps, they're already cracking in the shell in the bearing block. So by the end of the day, you need new bearings. Where you could have been still riding around on your steel bearings for the next couple of months, right? So that's what I'm wondering if it's going to be. I mean, there's a lot of things changing in this market all the time, like you said before. And, we've had motors with plastic bells. We've had 3D printed bell motors, bells for motors. We've had bells that were trying to be lightened where, they trying to minimize the mass to spin, I don't know. A lot of things is going to be good in the end because, we're just phasing through all the little steps, right?
It'll be interesting. Right. I'm actually interested in those motors to see if, like, they say that it runs quieter. So, like, if you get a 3S ship with those motors on because there's 24 kVs, you might get a nice quiet night running quad.
Yeah,
to where you can fly that, and like you're not going to disturb your neighbor, a block down.
that would be interesting to see. I know my buddy's got a quiet quad. He puts props on there that are quiet so you can fly it at night.
That's what I want. I want a quiet quad sometimes, so that I know like I'm not going to bug anyone. But that's kind of my interest. But I'm with you, like $35 a motor. Ouch, that really hurts.
Yeah.
Bigger prop, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off. I got to see some people flying them. And
exactly. It's like, let me check before, let me see the complaint boards before I go invest in that.
Yeah. But I'm not quick to adapt to new stuff. I'm super hesitant to change to anything anyway. Like once I find what I like, I'm a real hard guy to move to anything new. And I always regret it because like when I started off, that Lumineer 250 came with a CC3D board, which is pretty much dead by the time I got it. Like the community's dead, the forums are locked, you can't ask questions, there's no help to be found, and everybody's on a naze. And I was super scared to even start messing with the naze. But by the time I did, I was just I regretted that I hadn't done it sooner. It flew so much better. But even when KISS came out, I got a KISS flight controller early on just because I had the opportunity to get one, but I still let it sit on my bench for like a month and a half before I even put it on.
Wow.
It's tough to move me over to anything new. I like to get stuck in my ways.
Well, it's also how you get consistent, though, because if you keep on trying new things, you're not going to be consistent.
No.
You can't be consistent if you're constantly building new ships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've seen guys who they're just changing their PIDs every single day, trying to do something else with their quad every day, changing parts, changing PIDs, and it seems like some of them might wonder why they don't progress faster, and it's like, just leave it alone, man. Even if it doesn't fly great, just fly it.
Just fly it. Flying, people don't realize that it's not always what you're doing when you're flying. It's the fact that you're actually learning to move the sticks, right? I mean, that your muscle memory becomes, you learn how far you can go over there in that corner, you know what I mean? That's really what you need. It's like, how far does it take to do a 180? How hard can you flip it? You know what I mean? Once you get comfortable to all of that, then your flying really progresses because you start to, you're not worried about making that corner. You know you can. You know what I mean? So you just work on going around the corner and making the corner look smooth like some of your videos.
Hey everybody, it's FPV Fly Girl here with your tip of the week. And I'm out on our race course this week, and it is just about 10 a.m., and it is already 91 with the heat index. So I thought it was a great time to share the tip that I received from Dustin Aguirre, which is to stay hydrated during your summer flight sessions. So drink lots of Gatorade and lots of water. Something else you may not know, though, is if you drink things like frozen beverages, your ices, Slurpees, you can actually lower your core body temperature, and this will keep you feeling cooler longer. That's it for now, and have a great flight.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, just moving on, you're definitely, so I'm going to generalize, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. You're definitely in the arena of freestyle. That is your passion. Racing comes secondary to you. Give me your thought process on that, because, most of this hobby or sport is just about racing right now. Freestyle is kind of bumping along. Hopefully it'll bump along faster, but what's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's kind of strange too. That it's like the pitch to the general public is that this is like racing cars, or whatever you want to compare it to. I mean, that's the pitch. We're not pitching the idea of people being creative and doing stuff with the quads, but I mean, you look at skateboard competitions. The parallel I see between skateboarding, is there, and you look at the competitions for skateboards and people aren't racing each other with them. Now, I think that racing is awesome, and I went to the Cincy club, last or 2 weekends ago, and I had so much fun racing. It was such a good time. So it kind of sparked the racing stuff in me, but it just seems like I think everybody trying to push the race stuff on the public is the reason you don't see as much freestyle maybe in contests. I mean, that's my take on why, because we're trying to appeal to a larger audience with the races, which I think it's an easier concept for somebody to grasp when it's a head-to-head race versus trying to judge, get people to understand you're judging somebody creatively, and assigning a winner that way.
Yeah. Totally.
Whereas a race is a defined winner, you can't say there's no question about who won. Versus, a freestyle competition is more of a matter of opinion.
Right.
And I think that's just a tougher thing to pitch to people with money. People you're trying to get to buy this or buy into it. So maybe that's why it's not as big and as far as competitions go. But my passion definitely is in freestyle, and it's just the creativity of it. And I mean, I'm a creative person anyway, or I try to be. So it just seems natural to me. I like being able to express myself with my quad, push myself further. So I definitely enjoy it. And I go out by myself all the time and fly. I mean, typically I fly alone. So I just put some music on, get in the air, and just rip around. Yeah.
You kind of agree with that, Elvin? It's just an easier pitch to the public?
I think it's easier, because, people understand racing a lot easier, I mean, we still having a hard time defining what tricks is what, that's one of the things with skateboarding, everybody knows what an ollie is. Everybody knows what kickflip is. You know what I mean? Those things are defined somewhere, and most people today understand what the names are of some of the tricks. Let's just say 70% of America understands what a kickflip or an ollie would be. Maybe it's a little smaller, but I'm saying hardly anybody knows what a Superman is. What are you doing? What's a Superman? There's just the names haven't been totally defined yet. So there's no Bible trick Bible. That's what we need. We need a real trick Bible, and everybody to start following suit. Here's me doing such and such, or here's me doing 2 ollies and a kickflip, or here's me doing 2 ollies and a half somersault. You know what I mean? When we start to get that going on, it'll be easier to express to the rest of the public what it is and how hard it is to do.
Yeah, and why I think you made the point on one of your previous shows, people aren't watching race videos. I mean, they're watching freestyle videos. So it seems kind of weird that, the interest among pilots is to watch freestyle, but, we're promoting racing as the main thing.
Right.
So,
See, I completely agree with you, because if you look at YouTube videos, and I've said this before, the vast majority of views are always on freestyle. Racing videos on YouTube suck. I'm sorry to tell you, they're really boring. Unless
it's cool to see some real close passes, but you got to watch fucking 5 minutes of video to find it, and then it's it's not really that exciting, you even when you watching your own race videos. I've gone back and watched my own races or watch other people's races. I'm not. It's
Exactly.
I hear you.
No, I'm not talking about anybody's skill or anybody's talent. It's just whatever. You know what I mean?
It's kind of boring. It's boring.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really
but
boring.
This is what usually happens, right? I'm flipping through Facebook trying to keep current. And then, either your video or Schizo video starts playing automatically, and then I stop and watch it for 2 minutes because it's interesting. And then I'm like, why did I do that? And you start flipping again.
Yeah.
Because it just stops you.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried to, being at that race 2 weeks ago, every race, I've only been to 2 races prior to that. I was at Megadrone, which was really my first race, and went horribly. I was in the air of total of maybe 60 seconds that entire weekend. It's really bad. Man. But so last weekend I shot GoPro footage of all of the races, or 2 weekends ago. So every race I was in, I shot footage, and then when I tried to edit it together, I didn't bother doing entire races. I just did highlights of rubbing props, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I'm in no way trying to dog on racers or anything like that, because racing is awesome and it's super, super fun to do. And
it does take a lot of talent.
It does, and there are some crazy fast guys out there.
Right.
It's nuts.
It is.
Even like last race I was at, Matt Nowakowski,
Mhm.
a Sidewinder was there.
Mhm.
He was hauling, man, and he won the race. But God, he was fast. It was crazy.
To tell you the truth, like I actually like when I fly, I actually prefer racing because I like the routine. I like to be able
Yeah.
to set out a track, and then I just like to burn 10 packs around the track because like I'm getting consistent. And like when I do freestyle, I always have this fear of this is the day I'm gonna get stuck in that tree 40 foot up. And I'm gonna,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be the one. It was like, anybody got a cherry picker?
Yeah, I know how that is.
It's
But
like-
yeah, I'm definitely into racing now. So I'm planning on being. I have a dedicated quad for racing. I built a totally new setup and 200 megawatt VTX in it. So I'm pretty dedicated to it now. I'm trying to get it. I'm going to try to get to every event that Cincy quad racers are having
awesome.
from this point on. Because I'm hooked. I had so much fun last time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see you up there on one of those because
Awesome.
I am committed to showing up to one of those events. And
Yeah, and me and my buddy, old 513 FPV, I fly with him a lot locally, and we fly tandem a lot, trying to shoot video like side by side, doing big split S's, chasing each other. And it's
Yeah.
so hard to stick with somebody when you're flying freestyle like that. But when you're in a race, like me and him are stuck together like magnetized, So you get some exciting stuff, especially with like in the track coming up this weekend. Has over and under where you go over trees and then back under, so it's like a 3D element. So I'm really excited to see some inverted side by side, diving.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
It's
that
gonna
sounds
be
fun.
Yeah,
So we kind of covered some of the freestyle and the racing. Now, one of the things that you're really good at, and it's the reason why people watch your videos and stuff, is that you're really good at content creation. So that's one of the things that everybody, in some way or another, lack. There's very few pilots out there that really hit down hard and know what they're doing. So like, walk us through how you learned that, and give the people some pointers.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a full-time job. I mean, if you're trying to get yourself out there and interact with the community and you want, I mean, I love watching freestyle videos. I know some people just put content out and don't really watch a lot, but I mean, I spend so much time every day watching other people's videos. I try to stay current on the tricks. I like being inspired by pilots doing new stuff, giving me ideas for new tricks to try. But it's a full-time job to put content out there every day, and it can get taxing. It's hard to keep up with. But I don't know. I've always screwed around with editing videos and stuff. I mean, I enjoy video editing, shooting video, even prior to all this. Making skate videos back in the day and stuff kind of gave me an idea. And really, a lot of what I put together is inspired from skateboard videos. The way they're shot and the way they've been made. I look at my freestyle videos the same way. I try to pace them the same way. So, but the main thing, I think for being able to put content out every day or every other day is just find good spots nearby your house. So if you're driving far, to get to a good spot, that's tougher to do, and it makes it harder to get out and fly. So if you can get a couple spots that have a couple good things nearby that you can learn tricks on, shoot good stuff, it makes it a lot easier to get stuff out there.
Yeah.
Also makes you a better pilot because it's hard to find time in the day to fly for a lot of people. So if you can get a spot nearby that you can just run over to 5 minutes away, and throw your quad out and get in the air, it's good practice and make you a better pilot a lot faster, and you have a lot more content to put out.
And you'll get better at setting up and getting, breaking down quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll be more prepared to fly over the long period of time, because that first couple times you go out, right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna fly, and like I got my 8 batteries or whatever, and you get out there and you end up goofing off. Trying to get stuff. Oh, I left something at the car. I got to go back, and
Yeah, I'm pretty quick.
You know
If
what I'm
I
talking
see something like if a train going by, I'll pull right off the road and I'll be in the air in 15 seconds.
There you go.
And I'm real quick with it. So
He's like,
you got to take those opportunities when you see
Right,
something.
right. That's what I'm saying. You got to be prepared. But after a little while, it going out, you'll get things will happen more fluid, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but you want to, and as far as making good content, you want to find good spots. You want to, take advantage of what you have too. It's not always about finding the most epic spot. Like people want to fly and close down amusement park or something. And they think that's going to be the best video they've ever made. There's plenty of guys that can make great videos with hardly anything. It's just about being able to work an area, knowing what's interesting to watch, and being able to put that together.
Definitely. So, like, when you go out to a spot ready to record, do you have a predefined plan set in your head, or do you just kind of get creative and just see what the flow is for that day?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes I'll get stuck on a trick, like Johnny FPV. He came out with that green eruption video, and I saw a trick in there I wanted to learn, and it was 3 days, every pack, just that trick over and over again, trying to get it down. But when I go out to fly, I normally don't have, I might have one thing or two things in mind that I want to touch on while I'm in the air. But typically it's just, by the seat of my pants, just doing whatever. Yeah, because part of it's finding. You have to be able to be flexible. So you want to look at your exits, when you're coming out of tricks, find the most interesting thing. Like you might know, like there's a couple holes, knowing a spot is important. Knowing your situational awareness, where you're at in the air in relation to these objects. But, you do a trick, you're not always going to land on the dime that you wanted to hit that hole. So you have to be able to be fluid, hit a different hole,
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, you gotta be able to work with what you got and work on the fly. But
hey, yeah, some people can do it, some people can't. I'm probably one of the people that can't. So like, how many flights in the air does it take you typically to get one good video, cut together?
Well, recently I've been trying to cut back. Like I'll
He's like
like tonight I went out and flew at the school across the street where I shoot a lot of videos, and I'll do a video I like, I'll do a line of tricks I like, and I'll try to replicate it. But in the end, if I end up with 10 videos, I just can't decide, what to use. And it's just more of a pain in the butt than just doing it, maybe 2 or 3 batteries and nail it and take the best one of those. It's less worrying, less, going over footage. You're stuck all night going over footage, which is also taxing and it will make you dread the process. If you just shoot a couple videos that have some good stuff, a lot easier, a lot quicker to edit.
I like that idea, actually. Sometimes, hey, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah. So, now when you go to edit a video, is it also seat of your pants? You just find what's good and just kind of hack it together and says, "Yep, this is good."
Yeah, I mean, it is. Sometimes I'll have like music in mind, and so I'll kind of fly to. Sometimes I'll have a song in mind that I want to shoot a video to, so I'll download that song. I'll play it while I fly, try to hit the beats of the music. That's if I'm doing raw videos. I used to post a lot of raw videos. Recently, I've been doing a lot more editing, but my computer I was using was really bad, and it was really hard to edit footage on. So I would just post raw videos because it was fast. I didn't have to mess with anything. I just put it up, trim the ends, throw some music on there, and I'm good to go. But I just got a new computer, so I'm doing a lot more editing now. It's a lot more free, and I can be way more creative. But I do. Most of it's just on the fly. I'll sit down and watch the footage and get an idea on what I have and the pacing of it, and work from there.
Awesome. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I find especially when editing, you can waste so much free time there. You can spend a whole night there on like 1 30-second part, and you're like, "Are you serious? I spent 2 hours sitting here looking at 30 seconds."
Absolutely. I'm super indecisive, and the more options you give me, the harder it is for me to make a choice. So I'm trying to limit myself. So when I edit, I don't dwell on it. I'm trying to get faster and better so I can make more content.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very tough.
You got a lot to. Well, I mean, you got the skills though. You can just grab a couple batteries and turn the GoPro on and, point at a tree. Okay, that's the tree I'm going to tackle today. You know what I mean?
Like, okay, so Instagram was the main thing I used. I mean, I'm posting way more to YouTube now, but Instagram's always been my go-to. And it's because if you're using, I use a GoPro Hero 4 Silver, which has Wi-Fi, and I can do a trick, like fly up that slide or whatever, and as soon as I land, I can have that uploaded to Instagram with music in 60 seconds. It's fast. I mean, you download it, you just cut the clip straight to your phone. The GoPro app, you can do 30-second clips. You can do 5, 15, and 30-second clips. So you just grab the clip you want, just cut it off, pull it down, and then you can have like the Adobe app on your phone, which is free. There's tons of video editing apps which are free, and you can just throw music on that way and throw it on Instagram, and you have content up fast on the fly. So we can be out, like my buddy's flying, doing crazy stuff, and you can be updating it as we're, driving spot to spot. You're throwing stuff on Instagram. So
that's not a bad idea because Instagram is pretty hot.
Yeah, and Instagram now has the minute-long videos you can do, but that's pretty new. It used to be just 15 seconds, and so if you want to do something cool, just think of it in 15-second increments. If you want to do 15-second Instagram videos, you can think of cool stuff that will take place in a 15-second, time span, whether it be like one trick, a tower dive, whatever you're going to do, and you can just base that, you can just do that trick over and over again with that one battery, and you'll get one good one out of it that you can put on Instagram real quick, just to, keep yourself out there and share what you're doing with people in the community.
Hey, that's not a bad idea because of all the social media networks that is easy to get followers right now, Instagram is on top of my list because people will follow you. Like, you go onto YouTube and Facebook, you're gonna have to fight.
It's pulling teeth to get somebody to subscribe to you on YouTube.
Yeah, it is
great.
Tough. It is just really tough. But I think we all know that. Elvin knows this. Like, subscribers are tough, man.
Yeah,
man. You one morning you get up, you got 400 subscribers. The next morning you got up, you got 290. Well, what happened? I don't know. Did I post something I wasn't supposed to?
But another thing for me, like with Instagram too, one thing I like about it being, such a, there's no time behind posting. You can post stuff real fast and interact with the community really quickly. And like growing up when I was skateboarding, like there was a couple other skaters I skated with that were very good, where we were kind of all in the same par together, and we pushed each other. It's tough to push yourself when you're alone, when you don't have somebody there, to compete with you or to motivate you, or you see them doing something really cool, and that helps me, be a better pilot. Mm-hmm. And so like Instagram is really important to me to keep. I'm on there every time I have downtime, checking out new tricks, checking out people's videos, getting ideas, and I love that. That definitely helps motivate me to push myself further. On a daily basis, I use Instagram for a lot of my motivation.
That's pretty cool. I actually haven't thought about it that way, to use Instagram, the short videos to motivate you to try new things. And you're basically competing against a global community at that point.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
I sit down to fly in between batteries. I'll pull it up and I'll watch somebody's video just to get me out of what I'm doing. If I'm having bad flights, I'll watch a clip from Schizo or Steel or somebody and just get me fresh, get me thinking a different way.
That's a good idea. I like that. Yeah, definitely. All right. Smartphones are definitely useful.
So I got a quick question. So what's your favorite ship that you're flying now? Or what's been your favorite ship that you've been flying over a long period of time?
I've flown a lot of Lumineer frames, the 250, the Sharpoo, 210, the QAVR, and the QAVR it had some design problems early on, but it's essentially an Alien knockoff, which is fine. They use good carbon fiber and a lot of good parts, but an Alien frame, that was before I got sponsored, that was the last frame I bought, was a 5-inch Alien, and that's an incredible frame. It is so well designed and durable. I crashed that thing, dead on into a tree at least 60 miles an hour and just bounced right off. Nothing wrong with this thing. I've cartwheeled it so far across the ground, and it never had a chip, a break, anything. And I mean, I ragged that frame out, but that's a really good frame. But Drone Wolf, I know they're my sponsor, but here's the thing with me and sponsors is I don't jump. I've never jumped at the chance to fly for something that I don't believe in. I've had some people offer me stuff and offer me sponsorships that I haven't taken because I can't tell people, one, I'm not going to fly on it. You know, if you don't make a product that's up to my par, I'm not going to use it. And I'm not doing it just for free stuff. I want it to be, you know, I like to use stuff that I like. So being sponsored by Drone Wolf is really awesome for me because it is such a fun frame to fly for me. I love it. I mean, I absolutely love that frame. And they have some stuff that's about to come out soon, I believe, that is really cool, really killer designs. So Drone Wolf is definitely my number one frame. But
now, correct me
if I
if
had
I'm
to
wrong.
take a second one, it'd probably be an Alien.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Drone Wolf is out of Australia? Are
That's
they an Aussie
correct.
company?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Actually, a lot of the Aussie frames are really good. They're
Yeah.
really expensive, and you have to wait a long time for shipping or pay a lot for shipping. But
Right.
they make a lot of good frames over there.
Yeah, they do got a lot of good people out there. You know, you can get Drone Wolf from Pyroflip and from FPV Aces. So there's some American distributors you can get them from pretty quickly. But yeah, if you're getting it from Australia, you got to wait a couple weeks. So
Yeah, that generally sucks. That's actually that's pretty cool. That like, how did that happen? Did they just up and contact you, and then like you looked at their frames and you said, you know what, this is a good match?
yeah, so it's kind of funny because like 6 months ago, like my wife and I went through and like got some fast food. And we were sitting in the car just talking, and I was like listing off like my dream sponsors, you know, like who I'd want to fly for, the teams I'd want to be on. And Drone Wolf was one of those teams. Like, I mean, legitimately, I was like, that'd be one of the teams I'd love to fly for. And a few months back, he announced like some people he'd sponsored, which was like Moke, Konasty, and NoCom. And I messaged him at the time, like, hey, look at my stuff.
Look at my stuff.
Check me out, man. But, you know, no interest because, I really wasn't up to par at the time. And so he reached out to me. Brendan, the owner of the company, reached out to me, I guess a month or 2 months ago, and asked me if I wanted to fly. And it was cool. I like the way he handled it, too, because he wasn't like, you're just going to be on the team. He wanted to send me a frame. He wanted me to see it in person. Wanted me to make sure that I actually liked it and wanted to be on the team. And which I liked that it wasn't just like, hey, just come on without knowing anything about us. But on top of that, it's an incredible team to fly for. My teammates are incredible pilots, and I'm really, humbled to be among those guys. So that's really, really cool to me. But Brendan, the owner, he takes all of our input. He shows us all of his designs, wants to know what we think, and he implements our ideas, takes our feedback seriously, which, from what I understand, that's not the case most of the time with a lot of companies.
A lot of I hear a lot of guys, they get signed on and it's just like, here you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, this is a lot more.
You fly this or you don't. You know what I mean?
So has that been your experience with a lot of people that ask you to test stuff? Is you give feedback and it gets ignored? Elvin, I'm talking to Elvin.
Sometimes, you gotta be honest. Sometimes you give feedback to somebody and it's ignored. Because they have a different point of view. You know what I mean? And that's why they ask you about your point of view, because maybe they only see it one way. And maybe the way that you see it is not the direction that they want to go in. Because there's been a couple of those, like you make suggestions. Well, this is a beginner frame, and we're trying to, because you try to warn people about weight, right off the bat, when you build stuff. You got to look at the weight, keep things thick, but then try to keep the weight down. And it's hard to have a great balance of both,
It's tough. Hey, So, Sam, or not Sam, Matt, whatever.
Either's fine. You can call me Sam from across the room. I'll turn around and answer to it. I'm so
He was
used
right
to it.
both times.
Yeah, it's right both times. I like that one. I'm never wrong. Who's on your team?
So for Drone Wolf, we have Moke, Konasty, and NoCom, and myself. So it's just a four-man team. It's small, and they're all really good guys and really talented pilots.
Yeah, they're all over the place too, aren't they? Like you're talking about a pretty spread out team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
did you say NoCom?
NoCom Studios is the name like he goes by, but they're kind of all over the place. So I've never met any of them in person, but we have a Facebook Drone Wolf team chat, so we're kind of in contact, kind of kicking stuff back and forth every day.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. It does make a lot of sense. But it can be tough to put together a team that is close by, especially if you're an Australian company. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do that. But cool. So we've kind of gone through like what you like in freestyle and what you like to do. What are you hoping? What are you hoping that it's going to go?
For me personally,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess obviously I think the dream is to be a professional pilot, fly for a living. I think that would be just about anybody's dream that has the passion for it. I think like myself and you guys do. What more could you want than to be able to fly for a living? But I don't see that happening in the near future. And not for me. Out of all the pilots in the world, definitely, I don't think there's any reason why I would be over anybody else. But I don't know. I just enjoy. I just enjoy it a lot, and my expectations. I don't know that I really have any for the future. I'm just kind of riding the wave, seeing where it takes me.
It's a great wave. It's a great wave to ride.
Yeah,
it's just. So with being on the Drone Wolf team, that has its opportunities, and going to some big races together is harder when the team is spread apart, but it may make the showing spread across the world a lot bigger footprint, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're right about that. And with everybody kind of spread out, we can each make a dent locally or in in different areas. So I don't think it's a bad idea. And then big events. These guys, like Konasty and Moke are both going to be at nationals, so they'll get to meet up and fly. So there's chances you'll get to meet up, I think. But it would be nice if it was a local team, but
you can't.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. But hey, glad that you're sponsored and it's helping you out, because it definitely helps in the pocketbook to continue making content when you're not having to foot the bill for every part on that quad.
Yeah, it does help, but I think a lot of people think. There's a lot of people I think that fly. It seems like that I talk to, and like all they want is to be sponsored. That's the only thing they're flying for. It seems like sometimes, and like I've told some other guys, like just fly for fun. And if it happens, it happens. But really, look at it as a pat on the back, because a sponsorship isn't going to be, the end all. For one, every sponsor you get, they're not just giving you stuff for the fun of it. You're working for the stuff. They need your input. They need you to advertise for them, to be on their gear. It's a serious work, and they're not just going to give it to you for free. So. One, every sponsor you take on, you're taking on more responsibility and more work for yourself.
Yeah, I just signed another contract. You know what I mean?
Elvin signing his life away. Sponsor number 7,820.
No, it's that time of the year. One of my sponsors, I signed till this time last year. Last year this time I signed with them. Now I'm signing again. And things more promises, it's always more damn promises. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's gonna be a great year. Yeah.
I've heard this before.
But I'm here. Right? I'm here.
Elvin is nothing but persistent, and he'll always keep pushing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to, man.
All right.
Because I know
Oh, yeah.
if you sit still too long in this business, you're going to get left behind, right?
Oh, yeah.
Very
I
true.
mean, we all know that, and that's part of this the shape of the future, as this market is changing, and the hobby changes, and then the sport changes, and next week we got nationals, right? I mean, the big dance right here in big great USA, and a lot of people are going to be there, and a lot of us are not going to be there. Me one, why I'll be there, and I'm looking at it like it's somebody else's year. You know what I mean? Last year I was there. This year is somebody else's year. Next year I might actually be there next year for a different reason. You know what I mean? So we don't know what's going on.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's ever changing.
It's ever changing. And speaking of nationals, tell your teammates to look out for me, because I definitely want to meet them and get a
Yeah, I
few
will.
pictures with them, because I always like meeting pilots that I know other pilots from, because it's kind
Yeah.
of cool. And actually Moke was at MDX. I just probably, like everybody else, I probably just can't remember. Anyways, yeah. Boy, nationals. You know what? I am so far behind. I'm telling you this right now.
Next
So-
week, baby.
Not next
Yeah.
week. It's this week.
I mean, yeah, this weekend.
It's this week.
This weekend.
I gotta go fly out. So okay.
Yeah.
Because
Today?
of that, I do have to wrap up quickly this week, because like I said, I'm so far behind. So, Matt, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at /SamHell, on YouTube at /SamHell, and on Facebook under Matthew Johnson.
See, not unified branding. He got it. Then Facebook, he dropped off.
Yeah.
He's like, Sam Hale, Matthew Johnson. Everybody's like, what? Huh?
Some people got
Yeah. But I definitely want to say thanks to Drone Wolf and Tattoo. I didn't talk much about Tattoo, but the support they give me is really cool. And then being a big company, when you have a big company backing you, there's a lot of stuff that comes along with that is really awesome. And who doesn't want to be sponsored by a killer battery company?
Hey,
Right.
you go through a lot of batteries. I understand that. It's something. Have you gotten a chance to try out their new pilot line, the 95C stuff?
Yeah, I haven't. I talked to Miguel the other day, and he said he has a rush order from China on a bunch of the R line,
Uh-huh.
which were the top pilot batteries. So he's going to get those to the team. He's getting the Drone National guys first. So
Right.
hopefully shortly after, because I'm dying to fly those.
Yeah, Miguel, hurry up. We know
Yeah.
you're listening. You're probably not listening. Don't worry. I'll see him at Nationals, and I'll give him a hint.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Definitely follow Matt if you get a chance. He pumps out a lot of good videos. He's very responsive on Facebook, and it's always good to watch new people and what they're doing. You got to push those limits, and hopefully
he's pushing the limits.
Freestyle will become in 2017 much bigger, because that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'd like
we
to see
all
it.
are. I mean, that's like I've told Y before. My one of the goals is to be a consistent, judge on something like that. And because people have to. There's some of us out there that are actually paying attention to everybody's all the new pilots, and learning learning the pilot style, and getting to know the charisma and stuff, so we can be able to judge you on a professional level and have knowledge of all of what you're capable of doing, so we can express that to the newbies.
Yeah, I hope to see that.
Yeah. Elvin Judge, you'll see that in the near future, because that's actually a really needed position right now, to make freestyle a national thing, just like racing is becoming a national thing. Because
Yeah.
without somebody telling the audience what's going on, they're not going to get it on their own. I'm sorry.
No, and that's a tough job, and definitely we need people from the community doing that job. I mean, especially like with the race coverage that's out there and stuff. It seems like up till recently, it was a lot of people that seemed to not know who pilots were and
Right.
didn't have much interest. We need to be talking about pilots, introducing these guys to people, because
Yeah.
if we're going to show people these dudes racing, we need to know who they are. I mean, we have to have people that have interest in the pilots. So we
And
definitely
everybody's got a story.
yeah. And there's some incredible stories out there for sure.
Just remember, when you watch NASCAR, nobody's actually watching the car. Everybody's watching the driver in the car.
Right.
Yeah.
So, cool, man. Matt, thank you for joining us, and
thanks for
we'll
having
hope to. Yeah, we'll definitely have you on and talk a little bit more in depth in terms of I would like to get you on again to talk a little bit about like how you fly in terms of sticks and pin tuning and stuff like that, because
Sure.
in order to fly smooth, you actually have to tune to fly smooth. It's
Right.
a little bit different, because like if you have insane rates, you're not gonna fly in a nice smooth pattern like that. It's just gonna fly by. It's gonna be like zip, and you're done. You're like, okay, what happened?
Yeah, and I use my thumbs too, so
Yeah.
I know that surprises a lot of people.
Ah, no, it isn't. Thumb throwing, I think, is a lot more prevalent than most people want to say. You get a lot
Yeah.
of internet chatter saying it's pinching, but like I see everybody
I
with
feel like a
thumbs.
black sheep with it though.
All right, Elvin, got anything else?
It's flow. It's flow. That's all it is.
It's flow.
Your
Yeah.
flow is smooth.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right, you got anything else, Elvin, before we cut off for today?
No, man. Everybody out there, good luck at nationals. Ryan Hart and Ryan Walker and Terry Ascott and Detroit Motor guys. We wish you guys luck. Everybody else, wish you luck. Team Post, wish you luck. Everybody, peace out.
There we go. And hopefully I'll see everybody at Joe Nationals. Signing off.
See ya.